When you write a novel, you have to have faith that this story is going to take you somewhere beautiful. When you write a book, you have the faith that it will reach out to someone else, to someone who's different from you, and it will connect us.
Future Library is an artwork that's going to unfold over 100 years. Today we're in the forest because we're cutting down the trees to clear a space to grow Future Library. In a month or so we'll be planting right here in the forest about 1,000 trees, and when the trees are fully grown we're going to cut them down and print a book which is written now but never read until 100 years. We're inviting one writer a year over the 100 years to write a piece, which could be anything, fiction, non-fiction, poetry, from one word to any length of words. And that'll be held in a special place inside the new library in Oslo, and then in 100 years' time it'll be made public and printed. So nobody will read any of these texts until far in the future. Not the next generation, maybe the next generation after that. This project has been so much about ideas and about the imagination, and it's really nice to be physically working with these roots and the plants and putting them in the ground and knowing that their growth is going to contain, effectively all the ideas of the writers growing through the roots over the years.
So proud. That's what forestry is about. And that's what city planning is about. We are making decisions today that are extremely important for 2 generations to come. Can you imagine if somebody came to you tomorrow and telling you, I have this beautiful gift, a book, because your great-grandmother bought a certificate without knowing, and now it's published and it's for you. What a gift.
The process of writing when somebody's going to read it but you don't know them and you don't experience it now might be quite a strange experience for the writers. Hopefully their ideas are going to kind of grow through the trees and the tree rings become a little bit like chapters in a book. I'm going to be building and designing a small room inside the Oslo New Library where the manuscripts will be held over the 100 years. And we're going to build the room using the trees that we've cut down in the forest. So we've been storing these trees since the forest was planted, and now they've transformed and become this room. It contains the smell of the forest, it contains the atmosphere of the forest, the softness and the warmth of the wood. And it's almost like being inside a tree. It's like tree rings gather around us inside the room. All around us are these apertures of light, and these are small drawers that are going to hold the manuscripts that the authors have written and contributed to the project. Every single drawer is going to hold almost a treasure for the future, for future generations. Each author's name is going to be inscribed on the glass and the year, and there's a light from behind that will allow us to have a glimpse of their manuscript through each drawer. Throughout the design process, we were looking to create an intimate space that brings people into a kind of mysterious, imaginative, calm, contemplative state of mind where they can read the author's names, they can imagine what's inside the manuscripts. The room is designed in 100 layers. Each layer has one drawer inside for each author, and the authors can choose their drawers. and the drawers come out, the manuscripts go inside, and then they're locked away for a whole century, and nobody will read anything that's inside them until then.
First I thought, that's just mad. What do you mean? I write something and no one gets to read it. So actually I first thought, I'm going to sort of not answer this and maybe it'll go away. Then some weeks went by and I started to think about it more and in a slow kind of way, slow art. I thought, yes, it is kind of mad, but there's good mad and bad mad, and I think this is good mad. I liked the me that believed in it more than I liked the me that didn't believe in it. It's trees, it's books, it's a circle, it's pulp, it's organic matter turning into this stuff, turning into that. And then the words get printed on them. I love that.
We use games to bring the best out in the collective creative mind. The Future Library is really a hard game to play for an author, but joyful as well. One of the things that really proved to me that I'm taking part in a game is that it really challenges all the aspects of writing, all the aspects of being an author. And one of the first things you think about is the fact that you're writing a work that will lay dormant for 100 years almost, for those of us who take part in the beginning. But that, of course, it also reminds you that you are a writer who hopes to survive time, you know. Of course, I hope people will be reading some of my stories or poems, you know, in 100 years anyway. But of course, at the moment, because now I have finished the text, I will enter the second phase of my involvement in the game, and that is to keep a secret. And as we know from childhood, keeping a secret is a game. And that is going to be the hardest part.
I was daydreaming. I was drawing tree rings on a napkin or on a notebook on a train. I imagined these tree rings as chapters in a book. So I saw this very, very clearly, but simply through this representation of tree rings and chapters and books and time. I thought, well, this isn't going to happen. This is one of these ideas that is definitely going to have to go away to the side. And so it did. So that was years and years before. And then I got invited by a remarkable woman, Anna Beata Hulvend, to come to Oslo for Slow Days, a conference that was looking at artworks that worked in slow time, slow space, that engaged people on a different level of time. I thought to myself, hang on a minute, that idea that so long ago seemed kind of crazy, but that it always, had been stuck in my mind for so long, I'm going to try it here, because maybe here is actually the place, because Norway is such a forward-thinking country, it has such relationships to the environment and longevity and taking care of nature and thinking in long time spans. So we were in the forest together, and that's when I thought, oh, this could be the place. So I had to say, I'm so sorry, but I've got this crazy idea for you. She said, I have the most brilliant idea and perfect idea for this space. And I was so eager to hear. But then she said, it's going to last for 100 years. And I totally panicked because I couldn't imagine how I was going to cope with that. Because, I mean, she has the idea, but my problem is that I have to make it happen. But then after working on it, building brick on brick literally, and meeting the former director of the library, it was a perfect match of her ideas. Actually got a room in the new public library, and then everything was in the place except the author. And then we decided to try to ask Margaret Atwood.
I am absolutely overjoyed that Margaret Atwood is going to be the first writer for Future Library. She is completely visionary and she's one of the greatest living authors today.
Well, I thought it was a wonderful idea and it appealed to me immediately, so I instantly said yes. It does appeal to that side of us who, as children, buried things here and there, little trinkets, little boxes, hoping that somebody would dig them up later.
We are now going to announce the title. It's the only part that you will know for 100 years. But I'm sure some of you will stick around until then so you can read the rest of it. The title is Scribbler Moon. That gives you a lot of room for speculation. You see, you wanted the idea of writing and the idea of time, and they're both in the title.
Great.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so Katie, a few words.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here we all are. We're standing in a forest. It's just an ordinary forest, but it's also a forest full of promise. Imagine, Margaret Atwood's words have just resonated through these trees. The first voice of another 99 to come. It's not often as an artist, I think, that a real dream comes true. And here we are. It's happening. I'm about to hold a manuscript by Margaret Atwood, and it's going to be printed on these tiny trees, and nobody's going to read it for another 99 years. What a gift. What an honour. I'm about to pass a manuscript over to the Vice Mayor into his safer hands than mine, and I just want to say how deeply, deeply grateful I am to you for being so active in this project. And these words, they've brought the project to life. They've really brought it alive. And thank you so much. Very early on in the project, we realised we needed to form a group of people who will take care of the artwork for the years to come, because I'll be gone, we'll all be gone. So we formed the Future Library Trust. Its mandate is to compassionately sustain the artwork for its 100-year duration. So the Trust are a huge part of this artwork. They take care of the artwork, but they also select the authors. We come with a sense of looking for authors who work with time, existence, being, nature, space, things that connect to the project itself.
이 프로젝트에서 가장 아름다운 부분일 수도 있다고 생각해요. 누군가가 그러니까 이 상을 주최하는 사람들이 모두 다 세상을 떠난 다음에도 그것을 넘겨받아서 그것을 계속하는 사람들이 있을 거 아니에요. 그리고 설령 아주 비관적으로 생각해서 그때까지 인류가 살아남지 못한다 해도 그런 노력은 계속될 것이고 누군가가 그것을 열심히 할 것이라는 어떤 신뢰가 있는 거고 저도 그 신뢰를 신뢰합니다. 그래서
I feel like now I belong to a circle a family of very special souls, beautiful souls, who come from all walks of life. And what unites us is our faith, is our hope about the future, but also our commitment to books, to culture, to literature, to the art of storytelling.
The Future Library is an inspiring project, and it gives us great pride and joy that it takes place just here in the city of Oslo. By building the Future Library, we engage in a dialogue with the coming generations. We are constructing a bridge between today and tomorrow.
This artwork's kind of come from this extremely simple idea, and it's grown and grown and grown, and we could never have predicted the response from people, and it continues to touch me, it continues to just move me, that it affects people. And it's, I think, one of the reasons for that is that we're living in this really frightening moment. People are scared. We're in climate crisis, climate catastrophe. Things move so fast, technology so fast. Time is running, it feels like time is running away with us all the time. And this project addresses some basic human needs and desires. That's to connect with nature and to connect with time, to connect with time past and to connect with time future, and to believe in that future, because it's a future that right now feels quite hazardous.
It's very optimistic to do a project that believes that there will be people in 100 years, that those people will still be reading, that they will be interested in opening all of these boxes and seeing what's inside them, and that we will be able to communicate across time, which is what any book is in any case. It's always a communication across space and time. This one is just a little bit longer.
As the project unfolds, I'm starting to realise that it is a story in itself. It builds stories, the authors contribute their stories, but it is a little bit like a fairy tale. I think Future Library really appeals to children, and I think in this case, I've made the artwork for these children in a way, and the children of these children. They are the people that are going to see this project through, and they're the people that in generations from now are inheriting what we leave behind. This year I had my own son in the forest, and I have great hope that they'll be the ones that take it on in the future and that transform our world more generally, these children.
Every year, for the next 95 years, we will gather here. We will meet here in the forest. We will do a walk, have our coffee, sit down on the ground in this clearing and listen to the author's reading. A simple, grounded ritual at the heart of the Future Library artwork by the artist Katie Paterson.